Hello and welcome to the Freedom of the Night, the Tales from the Supernatural. Welcome. Today's topic, balance and imbalance. That is today's topic. Sit back, relax, and be back. We'll talk about it after this break. Hello and welcome for today. Um, in this video, today I'll be going over briefly about balance and balance. Hopefully I am heard because I've been having a little problem with my I'm also at the same time on YouTube and podcast. My podcast link is anchor.m/Shante-Washington 0, and that is ANCHOR FM/SHONEY dash WASHITTON. That's my podcast link, and you can listen to this there as well. And I have two YouTube stations. One is named The Power of God, and the other one is Shante Washington. And you can also reach me here on Facebook as well. And for my podcast listeners, you can reach me on Facebook at The Power of God with Shante Washington. And that's The Power of God in a W/Shante Washington. All right, let's get on to this topic today about imbalance. So, as I was young growing up, everybody always told you what balance meant, and they always spoke as though you have a little balance of hate, and you had to have a little balance of love, which I never really understood, because almost as if they were saying it's to make with sin, but at the same time, love, which is the Bible states is a double-minded man. And as I one day I was sitting on a couch, and the Father was telling me something about my sensors being off. Yes, the Father was telling me about my sensors. They were off. And I didn't know exactly what that meant. But I was going through so much at the time of bitterness. I had just invited anger into my life. And and it was through a relationship, a rocky and rough relationship that I had with someone at the time. And I was chasing after this person because of what I thought I was supposed to do. I thought I was supposed to be loving, which is showing love. I wasn't really in, I didn't love this person like the love of sorry about that. I didn't love this person in the way that they may have thought I loved them. I was basically making a commitment to God. And I had made that commitment before I met this. I made that commitment way before I met this person. So, I thought that, and this is what I thought, that the balance was to be in sin. That's what I was told. I thought to be living in sin, wanting somebody. So I wasn't really connected to the person, but I was wanting to give to what I was given, which was sin. I want to give to sin love. And I knew that this person, was consistently doing things against me. But yet I made a commitment to God that I was going to love the next man that get into my life. No matter what, I was going to make a commitment, because I had never made a commitment before in my life. I always just ran away from them. Okay. And now I don't run away from my problems. I get away from problems. Okay. That's what I do now. Now I get away from problems. I solve them. Okay. Not to say that problems not going to occur, because they will occur. But I solve the problems. And if the problem consists, if it's like consistent, and it's not to stop the sin in nature or just being in flesh, then I have to get myself away from that particular person, place, or thing, so that I can have sanity as we know it of. You gotta have sanity, or your mind will go crazy. Especially if a person doesn't know what it is that they're doing. Like themselves, but they see you doing it back to them, or to you. But I thought that that's how it's supposed to go, because I thought that I, through chasing, showing that I loved a man. Okay. But I found out different, that my wasn't a man. My God was God alone. And then that's the whole scenario of that case. Got when I started learning very slowly, in an instant, I picked up anger. After that, I picked, because the person really wasn't ready for the love that I had received from God to give to that he wasn't ready for it. And then I noticed that, but he would not let me go. This person didn't want to let me go. And so at the end of it all, they started to, they were like off and on for many years, off and on. And one minute they wanted to be bothered with me, and then the next minute, when they didn't want to be bothered with me, they was going off to deal with other females. And then when they got done with those females, or just couldn't find someone, they came back to me. So we had that off and on relationship for so many years. So many years, me and this person. But the balance of it all, I thought, was to deal in sin, but at the same time love. So I was dealing with this man because I knew that he was sin, but yet I thought that was a balance. Because everybody said, as I was growing up, is balance is a little bit of love and a little bit of hate. I was willing to love from somebody who was willing to hate me. And I automatically knew that this person was just, had dealt with so much in their lives. And I was willing to love regardless. It didn't matter if it was him or another man. All I know, I made a promise to God that I was going to be willing to love this man, the next man that came in my life. So one day I realized that I was loving the wrong God, which was a man. As I knew that I was loving the wrong God, I picked up a friend. I picked up a friend called anger. And then after just dealing with this person off and on, then I picked up a friend called bitterness. And bitterness seemed very sweet to me, although it was not sweet at all. Okay? And God always says, sweet like honey, you know what I'm saying? But not the bittersweet. It just was not the balance, the love and hate that you are to deal with. No, I didn't have to deal in that. I was basically being imbalanced. I wasn't in imbalance. I was imbalance. Okay. I didn't have any balance into my life at all at the time. But here it is, listening to the wisdom, the knowledge, and the understanding of man. I thought I was doing the right thing. But I kept hurting myself dealing with this person. And so it brought me back to so many things of my past, which it brought me into my flesh. Okay. And it brought me more and more into my flesh until I became bitter. And then that's when I made a new band called Bitterness. Okay. And I started dealing in that for so long. And then I let it go. But then every time I came back, they always stirred me up, right back up of bitterness again and again and again. They hid it so well from other people, but some people they didn't hide it from because they showed it, because they was trying to friends these other people and that I was dealing with at the time. He wanted to he was trying so hard to be friends with other people to the point where he didn't care who listened on how he was talking to me. He didn't care, because in reality he knew how to make this love so bittersweet. And I was accept through the bitterness through his insecurities myself. And it just continued and continued and continued on like that, off and on, until they let me go. And when you're so used to dealing with the bittersweetness of everything, you just feel like, you get a little, again, through loneliness, you become sad. So I was a little sad, but I was also happy. I hate to say that, but I was sad while I was there because I was still trying to figure out how to leave the situation. But before that, I was so ready to go already. Already ready just to go. I was ready way before I left. I just had to find out how was this going to be that I was going to leave here without any problems. So, but once I left, I was just so happy and relieved of that imbalance that was happening. And I didn't even care if the person, blamed anybody else. I didn't care if he blamed me. I don't care. I didn't care. All I know is I'm so satisfied with where I am right now. But at that beginning, when I just felt like I thought I was imbalanced, because the wisdom that man, male and female, had gave to me about being balanced. You need a little bit of hate and a little bit of love. No. Imbalance. So I'm gonna say this. Imbalance is to do with your sensors. And like I said, one day I was on the couch and the Lord had told me that my sensors were off. And then he began to feed me what that meant. And so now I know that you being imbalanced has a lot to do with your sensors. And our sensors are through the touch, the seeing through the spiritual realm. When you see through the spiritual realm, and the touch of the Father, the touch from the Father that causes the power that we walk off into, and it stirs up the goodness in the belly, and you're supposed to testify of that goodness through the heart. Well, that is what I come to find out, is that imbalance is to do with your sensors. So my sensors were off at that time. And as the Father began to tell me, he said, "There's some things on the inside of me that needed to be reconstructed." Telling me that there are some things on the inside of me that needed to be reconstructed, meaning some areas in my life causing stress, an imbalance. Okay, it's causing stress to me. Whatever it is in my human that needed to be there or needed to be there, I needed to let it go. I needed to keep some things, and there are some things that I needed to let go of. And I needed to find out what that was causing my sensors to. And that the imbalance. The imbalance has nothing to do with the love and hate. The imbalance has to do with your sensors in operation spiritually. Okay? Because the flesh could be in your way of your sensors in operation. You know, so like touches you, you should be able to testify instantly. But when your sensors are off, meaning that flesh has gotten in the way, it becomes hard because darkness is covering you. Okay? Darkness is covering you, so it's hard for your light, that light of, because those sensors are light, hard for those sensors to shine brightly, which is in turn called the glory light. Okay? God is wanting to give to all the balance, and the balance is done through our sensors. God wants to open our sensors up to Him, but we have a love and hate relationship with flesh to the point where our sensors are off, and not the sensors of the flesh, but the sensors of our spirit. We have spiritual sensors. Okay, the touch, the sight. Without we can't see into the spiritual realm without these things being in operation. How can you walk when your sensors are off? The sensors being off means that you're still asleep. You're not awoke. Even though you are awake, you're still not woke. And that's to do with the imbalance. And imbalance is to do with the sensors. The sensors, meaning when God goes to give you something in your hand, you should be able to use them. But being that we all have to find the balance of that. That means that there are some things we have to keep to push us through it. And there are some things we got to let go of. And the only way you'll know what to let go of is by God, okay? Is by God. And God is the one that causes the balance, His touch, the sight of vision that He gives to us. What else? The taste of His Son being the meat. His Son being the meat, the taste of that. All those things has to do with balance. And those balance take place through our spiritual sensors. These are things, our sensors are what makes us woke. Our sensors are what makes us woke. If they are off, they are not functioning right. That's the imbalance. So, the spirit, you can maintain this balance of your sensors with what is in you worries, right? What's causing you worries? As you move forward, the spirit you move in, it should be purpose. It should be filled. If it's possessed, you are at a standstill. Demonically possessed and you are imbalanced. You have an imbalance. Your sensors being off is the imbalance. Okay, and you can't move in the purpose because God gives to you the sight that you need to see the vision, right? To dream dreams, to see visions, all those spiritual gifts that he places in our hand through free will offering because of his son being the meat, that the taste that we taste, the smell of his goodness, all of those things are the sensors that we need to open up in order to be enlightened, okay, of his glory light. His light lighting up on the inside and beaming onto the flesh, causing us to move off in our purpose. Because we woke now. We'll be able to see through to get to that blessing. So there'll be a lot of things that you'll be needing to eliminate or add to you. Okay? And if anything else is in the way of that elimination, in eliminating it or adding to it towards you, then that'll be like either you're stressed out or you be adding on to you more rest. Okay, you'll be adding unto you the right amount of rest, the rest that's in Christ Jesus. That's a different type of rest. That's the rest that everybody going through right now. That is stress. That's stress, and you are asleep. Don't fight your spiritual self, or you'll be in the line of trouble being added unto you on your day. Okay, so the balance again is you and your sensors. We have the five senses. Okay, we have the five senses, which is the physical senses, the sight, the touch, the taste of the tongue, the sight of the two eyes, the touch of our hand, and so on and so forth. We got our five senses. And you know what they are. We got our five senses, but there are sensors that need to be awake through the spiritual realm. And those sensors are the things that the Father places, the gifts that the Father places in our hand through his goodness. His goodness. The touching, the tasting on of the meat of Jesus, the goodness of that smell. The goodness comes through the smell. You just smell the goodness, okay? When you read the Bible, you'll notice the smell has to do with goodness. And God touches with his hand the belly, which stirs up all of the love on the inside of that belly. And it's only through the testimony of your heart that can be relieved. But if flesh is in the, how can you have a balance of your sensors to even push that out, to even move forward in your destiny, in your purpose? Because blind and your flesh is in the way of your spiritual sight, which your spiritual sight is your vision that God gives to you once he places it in your hand as that gift. See, God gives us with things, but the flesh gives us with things that's things we don't need. So always know that it's up to you to go in to the spirit and get those spiritual gifts that God places in your hand free willingly, or take of the ones that has been given to you by man, another man that is just as dumb, as blind, and came here just like you. It's up to you. But do know that it's totally different over there than it is over here. So this is Shantae, and that's a little bit. I'll talk about these subjects further as I grow, and a little bit more. Till then, peace.